Sweet Valley Twins novel. Okay, Sweet Valley Twins. Okay, remember those back in the day? Got this in a charity shop for 25 pence, by the way. So I thought, sort of, there you have a little bit of nostalgia. Now, I actually read this book back in my teenage years. This is going back a good few decades now. This book came out in 1988. Okay, it's created by Francine Pascal. However, it was actually written by Jamie Suzanne. Okay, so I don't know how this worked. So did she just get the ideas and then fob it off to all these ghostwriters, because there's a lot of them? Anne and Martin, who created the Babysitters Club, exactly the same thing. So he's always come up with a central concept, and then other writers did the work. So so it always does say created by Francine Pascal on the binder. This book came out when I was 8 years old, so yeah, I'm showing my age here. But I didn't read the blurb. Actually, no, talk about the Sweet Valley series, okay? So there's on these two girls called Jessica and Elizabeth Wakefield. Elizabeth was the older twin by 4 minutes, more like 4 years. Different personalities, and this is like a slice of life kind of book with them and their parents, and their brother Stephen, who's 2 years older, and the life and times of the Sweet Valley twins. Right, okay. So in the first book, has them kind of going their separate ways up to kind of get more of their personalities. Now they are chalk and cheese twins. Okay, if you don't know the concept, is Elizabeth is studious, she is smart. Actually, Jessica's also smart as well, but Jessica is more into fashion and having fun and being popular. But Elizabeth likes books and studying and writing, and yeah, okay, so this is the life and times of the Sweet Valley twins at Sweet Valley High, okay? Which was the second series coming up when they were, so this one is at Sweet Valley Elementary. Here you go. Second best. Hmm. Caught in the middle. Things are happening fast for the Wakefield twins. The biggest party of the year is coming up. If Jessica can get ungrounded in time, she'll be able to go. Elizabeth is entering a statewide essay contest, hoping to win the $100 prize, and both twins are putting in extra time on their special school projects. Cute, smart, and popular Tom McKay is in Jessica's work group. His antisocial brother Dylan is in Elizabeth's. Dylan feels that he will never be as good as his brother, so why should he even bother to try? Elizabeth wants to prove to Dylan that he can be the best at something too, but can she help without become sorry? Can she help him without coming between the two brothers? Right, this is book 16 in the series, by the way. So, in the world of Sweet Valley, okay, you've got Tom McKay, who is athletic and popular, and everyone likes him, and then you've got oldest by 1 year Dylan, and Dylan is actually Dylan reminded me of me when I was at school. Okay, I actually read this from a place of understanding, incidentally, because I went to school with my sister Anne, who's 3 years older than me, who is nothing like me. We don't even look alike, incidentally. Okay, I took him after my mom. She took me after my dad. So she's got the blonde hair and the blue eyes, which my dad has, and I'm the hazel-eyed brunette. So we don't even look alike as siblings. And she was outgoing and popular, and everyone liked her. Well, I'm the youngest. I was the introvert, so I read this from a place of understanding, especially because I get Dylan too, because it's his younger brother who's got the popularity and everyone seems to like him because he's into sports and oh, honestly, okay. Let me actually talk about how this book even begins. Okay, this is chapter one. All right. Alice Wakefield, the mother, smiled at her 12-year-old twin daughters. Looking at them was almost like seeing double. Well, yeah, they're twins, hon. Both kids had the same sun-streaked blonde hair, the same blue-green eyes, and even the same dimple on their left cheeks. But Jessica's hair fell in soft waves around her oval face, while Elizabeth pulled her hair back to the side, pinning it with gold barrettes. And though they looked so much alike, they were very different. Oh yes, very, very different. Right. Also, can I just point out, okay, it took these girls till they were 12 years old, starting elementary school, okay, starting secondary school. When I started to kind of get their own personalities. I mean, essentially, they've only found the lead of their parents. So they meant their parents, for the first years of their lives, just basically dressed them the same. They didn't really have a chance, kid, to figure out their own personalities till they went to secondary school. But so what their parents, the moment they were out of the cradle, dressed them the same. Now, I know people with twins, identical twins, and even they don't do that creepy stuff, okay? A friend of mine once did, okay, for a wedding, and we actually asked her, what is this, The Shining? Okay. Twins were dressed up in the same dresses. Every time we walked past them, okay, we whispered red rum under our lips, okay, because we made it clear this is not cool. Because our kids never dress the same in the real world. Our kids have different personalities. They're all just identical. Right. And by the time, okay, this is a typical, everyone's coming down on Jessica. Now, in the dynamic, okay, of the story, Jessica's everyone's favourite because her parents are always giving her a hard time about her grades. She's 12 years old. She's got a lot of extracurricular activities as well, okay? She does dancing, she does this, she does that. So, but she's the good, Elizabeth is the good twin, and Jessica is the bad twin. That's their dynamic in this saga, right? And because of they got their report cards, and Jessica is not basically, it's like what they're saying is that Jessica is not as good as Elizabeth because she gets straight A's because she's that kind of person. Okay, right. I'm afraid this isn't good enough, Jessica. Your mother and I were discussing this morning whether you've been grounded long enough. But now, after receiving this report card, I'm afraid we're going to have to continue restrictions for at least another 2 weeks until we see some improvement at school. Right. Right, so they're grounding her until she does better in her grades. Right. And also, one thing is very, very clear is people always think, okay, that everyone seems to love Elizabeth. No, because the thing is, Elizabeth's mentality is, well, she's the good twin, okay? She's fair and she's sweet and she's kind. No, actually, um, Elizabeth is just as judgmental as Jessica at times, if not even more so. Right, this is how Elizabeth described Jessica's friendships and friendship groups. Right, yeah, because she's that kind of person. Right. The members of the Unicorn Club were Jessica's favourite friends at Sweet Valley Middle School. They were an exclusive group of pretty and popular girls who considered themselves like the mythical animals for which the club was named very special. Elizabeth wasn't that much interested in the club. She found the gossip about boys and clothes rather dull, and she knew for sure they weren't the best scholars at school. Right, because at this time they're building projects together. They've got essentially build a business, it's like a school fair kind of thing, and each one has to um, create something, do something. Now, Elizabeth's is to create a journal, like a Sweet Valley book, okay, which is going to bits of paper, photocopied and stapled, and they're going to be sold, okay, with poems and essays by the students. The kind of stuff can you give to your mum. Jessica's idea is to have a thrift shop, okay, thrift, like, like second-hand clothes, second-hand stuff, which is actually quite a good idea in this economic times, okay. Hey, what? Oh, hold on. One is damaging the environment with the constant printing of paper. This is 1988, okay? Jessica's idea, which is to sell clothes in a time where fashion, is actually ahead of its time. So I salute Jessica's project more than I would Elizabeth's, okay? Just for the drain on resources. There you go. Right. But they're talking about Dylan and Tom McKay, all right? And here you go. Oh, and also, loads of focus in this is on the cuteness of the brothers. It is only a year between them, right? A talk in the cave about the new McKay boy, Dylan, who Elizabeth asked, who? Just got back, oh, him, of course not. He's not cute at all, and he's totally boring. And me, his brother Tom, because Tom's cute, okay? And when it's described, okay, Dylan and Tom McKay, right? Tom's older brother, Dylan, a skinny 7th grader, looked awkward and ill at ease beside his athletically built younger brother. Hey, I got that. I absolutely got that. I am very, very different to Anna in our body types, okay? So I am different to Anna in every single way, by the way. People, we once went on holiday, people actually thought she was my wife because I had to come back and confirm we were sisters. Because I had to prove to this couple on the honeymoon that no, we weren't married to each other. We just related to each other. Right. But the thing is, Tom wants to get his brother involved more. Imagine these kids have just moved to town, and so he didn't want to get involved in that. Tom finds friends easily, Dylan does not. And also, Dylan and Tom. Hold on. Dylan and Thomas. The parents called their kid after Dylan Thomas. I just got that. Okay. Right. So, and once again, his cuteness. Okay. Here you go. And to talk about, here you go, this bit here, another focus, okay, page 22 of the difference, okay, of Tom being cute and Dylan not be, right? This is where Amy, okay, who's a friend of the twins, says, oh, don't you mean Tom, cute with blonde hair, he's in my class? No, I mean Dylan. I think he's a 7th grader. He's taller than his brother and has darker hair, and isn't half as cute. Yes, I know who you mean. He's the guy who who never talks to anyone. He's a real loner. And the thing is, if everyone at Sweet Valley is so bloody goddamn judgmental, okay, because he's not as cute as his brother, I don't blame Dylan one bit. I don't want to talk to these cretins either. Okay, these are 12-year-olds, by the way. Okay, talking about a 13-year-old, like, oh well, he's not as cute. Okay, his brother's cute, but he is not. No, he's not as cute. Right. And also, when it comes to the project, making this journal, now Dylan is assigned to Elizabeth's. He's not, he may kind of fellow, he's quite, remember also 13, puberty's kicking in at this point, okay? So 13, you're awkward, you're nerdy, you're figuring out, okay, your brain's all over the place. I mean, God, I remember my teenage years, it was hellish. And so when he is working with Elizabeth, right, she even says to him, Elizabeth being judgmental, is can you type? Now remember, they use typewriters. It's 1988, everyone's using a typewriter. Remember typewriters? I learned to type on a typewriter. I've never been so happy, okay, when I got my first ever computer because I could erase the damage, okay? So, and trust me, I totally erase the damage. You know, people see me writing and they think, my gosh, she's typing quickly. And like, yeah, then I have to untangle it from the mess. I type stuff and forget what even that word is. I'm just trying to get it all out. So there you go. Right. Right. Good thing one of us knows what we're doing, Randy said, glancing over towards Dylan, who still sat hunched over the typewriter. The so classic of the typewriting keys had already revealed to Elizabeth that Dylan's typing was not very good, but she kept the expression even. Thanks, Randy. Putting the thing together. I'll see you both tomorrow. Right. Elizabeth walked over to the typewriter to have a look. The piece of typing paper remained in the old typewriter, and the portion of the essay that Dylan had typed revealed several mistakes, some of them messily erased and typed over. Right. Elizabeth shook her head. Dylan had said he could type a little. Boy, was that an understatement. She'd had to retype a lot of it. Oh, yeah, because Elizabeth actually has a typewriter at home. At the time, no, you wouldn't have a typewriter at home. No one had a typewriter at home, okay? You're 12 years old, okay? You're learning how to type, okay? It's not like now, okay, when it's easy to type a text or anything like that, okay? Back then, you had to be taught to type. People actually went to typist school, like typist college, to learn to type. Because the thing is, if you made a mistake, it was difficult to actually get the backspace, okay, to actually erase the damage, right? So a lot of documents have liquid paper or Tipex, right? So her judgment, okay, oh, he's not a very good typist. Oh, see how judgmental Elizabeth is. I absolutely hate Elizabeth. Absolutely hate the goody two-shoes twin. Right. But the thing is, mixed up in the notes is Dylan's essay that was going to hand in and send away for his essay contest to win $100. But it didn't. And this is actually how it starts. And this is actually what Dylan wrote in his essay. Because the subject is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is one of the quiet freedoms that we sometimes forget that we enjoy only when it is lost, when books are burned, when newspapers are silenced, when the ordinary person's right to speak his or her mind without fear is taken away. Do you remember what a precious part of our heritage freedom of speech really is? Right. And remember, typing it all up as well. Now, let me go back, okay, about typing things up. Is back when I started college, this is going back in this is like going back in the late 1990s. Okay, back then I still hand wrote my essays. I still handwrite my essays for college. And literally the last couple of months, I finally got my first computer. I actually got my own computer. It was wonderful. Okay, it was huge, okay? And my tutor said to me when I started handing typed up essays was, if you can go back over the last 2 years, by the way, and retype everything you've ever written for this course, I will bump up your grade by 1. Okay? My C's will become B's, my B's will become A's. And literally, I had months to do this, and I did it. I took everything I'd written for my GNVQ media, okay, advanced, by the way, retyped everything, submitted it, and that's actually got me into uni. Right, so this whole kind of, you can't type, well, hey, it's a new thing, actually. It's only been like the last 2 decades. Okay, so, but you know, what Elizabeth does is that she submits it. She submits it to the essay contest. She calls Dylan and says, I've got this essay, what would you like me to do with it? And he's like, well, burn it. I don't want it. Get rid of it. Okay, his brother's already entered the contest. Apparently his brother, Tom, is very, very good. So it's brilliant. Everyone thinks that Tom's going to win. But Elizabeth enters Dylan's contest without even telling him. Okay, she just doesn't forget to tell him. She means to tell him, but she doesn't tell him. You also see, okay, what Dylan's life is really like. I mean, also there's a moment where Dylan's really, really angry with his brother. There's like an altercation at school. He's basically saying to his brother, fight me. Thomas actually doesn't. He just lets it go, right? And it's easy for Thomas, okay, to say, we don't have to be like this. We don't have to fight like this. But the things with Tom, it comes so easy to him. So you can't blame Dylan for where he is. When you go home, okay, when the boys go home, this is what his life is like for Dylan, right? Right. And when Dylan entered the house, his mother was in the kitchen watching Tom practice as she stirred a bowl of brownie batter. How's school, dear? She asked, sounding distracted. Then before Dylan had even had time to answer, she added, your brother's really showing promise as a tennis player, don't you think? Because Dylan's watching Dylan play tennis in like the garden. Right. Of course, Dylan grunted. Why shouldn't his mother ignore him like everyone else? He hurried to his room and shut the door behind him. No one cared about Dylan, not the kids at school, not even his own family. Tom was the one everyone liked, the son the parents took pride in. It was too much. And so Dylan decides to run away. Because his parents, it makes it clear in that one sentence, his parents just ignore him, okay, because their younger son is more sporty and outgoing, no one seems to like him. And so he's so good at everything. Okay, I don't blame Dylan for this, incidentally. I do not blame Dylan at all. Right. And also, there's a bit with that massive party coming up. Is everyone gets an invite, but because it's the seventh year. But Tom doesn't. So Dylan doesn't, but Tom does. And there's that kind of moment. Okay, like we're not going to invite me to this party. It's going to be like the party of the year. And so it's our kind of. I didn't forget. As Kimberly said, I know I didn't forget. I still want him to go, kind of thing. And it's kind of pointed out, okay, just how badly he's been treated, right? And this bit here, right? Remember, Dylan does not know, okay, about his essay even being in the contest, right? I heard someone better than that. Sweet Valley has a winner in the big state essay contest. What? Who is it? Elizabeth almost choked on a sandwich. Dylan McKay, can you believe it? Amy looked astonished. I felt sure you would win, Elizabeth. Or maybe Tom McKay. That's actually in italics. Everyone said his essay was good. That's because I didn't read Dylan's, Elizabeth explained. Then he felt a slight pang of regret. It would be nice to win the contest herself, but she had a strong feeling that this recognition would be more important to Dylan McKay than it would been to her. Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, she would have been nice for her to win that $100. Okay. And what's going on, okay, in the twins' life is something really good is happening for Stephen. There's a big banquet coming up because he's so good at basketball. And what is constantly going on, okay, about Stephen feeling like the golden child is Elizabeth. So Jessica doesn't like it. The focus isn't on her. And Elizabeth has to point out, okay, to Jessica, these are the parallels here of our relationship. These are the absolute parallels, right? And with Dylan going to run away, they realise where he's going to go. His plan is for this 13-year-old kid to go to San Francisco, and God knows what would happen to him there, okay? And it's a bit here, okay? It's a bit, right? I didn't think you'd mind if I left. I don't think anyone wanted me around. So Mum and Dad always seem to be talking about you, what you've done. All the other kids at school like you and not me. I just feel left out. Right. But in the end, they go to Kimberly's party. Everyone seems to absolutely love Dylan now that he's won this big essay contest, which is $100. I know that is in 1988. I will actually look up what that's worth. So now, okay, that Dylan's going to become more outgoing and more popular. In all honesty, I generally got where Dylan was coming from, okay? This is a school, okay, that puts a lot of focus on being perfect. I mean, there's one character called Lois Waller who's mentioned, well, she's seen twice, mentioned, okay, is talking about sizing for this boutique, okay, that they're going to arrange. And there's also a bit, okay, about delegation in which Jessica has to do. She makes everyone her mates vice presidents of everything. They have to step up because she's the one in charge of all this. But essentially, they call sizes, small, medium, and blimp Lois Waller. Lois Waller, who appears twice in this. Because Lois Waller is shock horror in Sweet Valley. She's fat. Right. The way she described is fat. That's a distinguishing mark. Is that in the world, okay, of school like this, where everyone is pretty and athletic and popular, is a fat chick. That's the thing. So, and Lois Waller also comes across a bit pathetic because she wants to be friends with everyone. Because she's an outcast. So, and everyone kind of tolerates her. And that's the thing, I would love to see, okay, Dylan and Lois kind of become friends, okay, from the own little antisocial social club. Because I totally got where both of them were coming from. Okay, especially I totally got where Dylan was coming from. You know, everything was going on, okay, about his brother, who's a year younger, okay, but so perfect. And Elizabeth had to say, well, you know, me and my sister are essentially identical, but we have our own friends and we have our own things in common, and we're both popular in our own way because we're not the same. Oh, shut up, Jessica. Sorry, shut up, Elizabeth. Shut up. There you go. Anyway, long review now. I'm tired. I'm signing off here. Gonna find out what's $100 in 1988, and I'm signing off. Bye now.